Now we'll talk about brooding. This is arguably the hardest part about raising quail. So, well, let me back up. Let's cover incubation. If you plan to incubate your own eggs, our settings that we use here is 99.5 degrees and 40% humidity until quail eggs go into lockdown. Now, lockdown is usually a couple of days before they hatch, and it means that you stop turning the egg. You stop rolling it, you stop flipping it, you stop tilting it, whatever it is you're doing. A lot of different incubators do this in different ways. I've got quail water filling, or goat water filling, I gotta check. So, once you've got your incubator and you can, the Little Giant from the farm store, I run a hatching time 500. There's a lot of DIY plans for incubators. If you're handy, you can go that route. Takes a couple of light bulbs and a fan. Amazon's a great place to get incubators if you're okay with the Chinese stuff. It's the sky's the limit when it comes to incubators. There's a whole bunch of different types of egg rollers. They've got type that just roll the egg on a set of rollers. You got types like what I run in here, which tips the egg back and forth about 45 degrees each direction. Every few minutes it does it. I think it's, 3 times an hour or some silliness like that. The DIY incubator, you can actually buy egg turning devices that do the same rotation or whatever. You can get all that stuff. It just depends on how extravagant your budget will let you go. Once your chicks go into lockdown, then your humidity goes up to about, I'm going to say between 55 and 75%. If you're that high for very long, you'll actually drown your chicks, so be careful. The temperature, we usually drop it down to 97 degrees for hatching. What that does is that allows it to stay a little moister, and that moisture softens the eggshell for the chick to break out of. So that's incubation. Incubation's been covered by thousands of people, thousands of times, and you don't need me to say it again. Well, I just did say it again, but you know what I mean. On to brooders. So there's a big deal. Brooding is very hard. You got to keep the drafts out of your brooder as much as possible. So that means, for the first week or so. After the first week, they're pretty sturdy, but the chick's first week is always the hardest. You can choose to do a heat lamp or a brooder plate. Brooder plates don't get as hot as a heat lamp does. Get lots of thermometers to keep your temperature checks on regular. When you're brooding chicks, you like the temperature to be about the 90-degree mark for the first week, and then you can kind of taper that off a little bit. I don't start tapering off until the 3rd week. So at week 3, I start turning my brooders down a little bit. The heat lamp, the big important thing about the heat lamp, make sure it doesn't come into contact with anything flammable, and always, always, always match the lamp fixture to the light bulb you're going to put in it. So if you've got a 250 watt brooder light, make sure you've got a 300 watt heat lamp fixture to screw that bulb into. If you're going to run a 125 watt, make sure your lamp can handle that in return. That's how people burn their barns down. They either let it get in contact with something and overheat and melt plastic, or they buy the cheapest thing they can buy from the hardware store and they screw a 250 watt bulb into it, and then the thing goes into nuclear meltdown. Always, always, always make sure your fixture and your lamp match. If you can't match them exactly, make sure your fixture will handle more wattage than your lamp can provide. Keep your chicks at about 90 degrees for at least the first week, if not the first 3 weeks. Start tapering it down. We use the 30% Gamebird starter food, and we grind it for the chicks. You have to grind the food or it won't be small enough for them to eat. And after the first week, we start throwing a little chick grit in there. We only grind for a week, and we use a little vitamin supplement in their water to help boost the immunity and boost the strength. I hope you guys have found this video useful. Like, share, subscribe if you have, and we appreciate your support.